gorgeous plant people, welcome back to Reading Mindfully. My name is Yana, and today I have a plethora of things going on. So today I want to get my collection tightened up. I have tons of cuttings that need to be potted, and I also want to give you guys an update on my transformation plants because, like I said, they have been growing and some things have been happening. So we're gonna do all that in this video. And so I kind of want it not to be chaotic, and I'm trying to do it in a good, organized fashion. So I think first I want to pot up my cuttings, and then second I'm going to chop some plants, and yeah, let's get started. So I have a ton of cuttings. These are all the cuttings that I have, plus these. Like it's a ton of cuttings. It's kind of ridiculous how many cuttings I need to pot up, and honestly I forgot about most of these cuttings. Like sometimes I take cuttings, and this is why I don't like to propagate that often, is that I take cuttings, oh, not to mention these and these right here. I take cuttings of plants and then I forget about them. I forget they're on the windowsill, I forget they're on my counter. But I was walking through my house today, and I was just like, I'm tired of looking at these cuttings on my counter. I'm tired of seeing them in the windowsill. I don't even really want plants in my windowsill anymore. I'm still trying to think of how I can get plants out of my windowsill. Because to be honest, sometimes the plants in my windowsill get neglected, especially when I pull the curtains or put the blinds down. I don't really think about them. And as well as I don't really like the look of plants being in the windows anymore. I don't know, I still have to figure that out, but let's pot up these cuttings. What I have in this pile is like a smorgasbord. What I have here are the lemon lime cuttings, as well as some albo cuttings, my Syngonium albo, which I'm chopping that plant up because he decided to act up. I have some varicosum melanochrysum cross, which I'm so glad I took cuttings of this plant, because the mother plant I put outside because he was acting up, and she kind of perished outside. I know some of y'all gonna be like, what? That's not funny. It's not funny, but it is, just because you should have seen my face when I went outside. I was like, so I'm glad I took cuttings of that plant. You can see that it grew some leaves in the while it was propagating. It grew some tiny leaves. So I get to start the plant over. I'm kind of excited, but at the same time I'm just glad I took cuttings of this plant. Let's see what else I have. I have some Syngonium macrophyllum, which that's the only plant that I didn't grab. I'll have to grab that one. I have some Syngonium mojito. You guys know I just received this from Airwood Asia. I think I'm gonna pot these up separately from the other ones that I received, just so I can have a better shot of actually growing this plant. Because like I said, I've had this plant for a long time, probably the same as I've had these other ones for like a year and some change. And this is the one plant that I continuously have to cut back and start over. I have some tetrasperma. I forgot completely about this plant. I have tons of tetrasperma cuttings. The roots on those things are crazy because I forgot about that plant. I have some Adabaptoense that like really grew some crazy behind roots in water, like that. Adabaptoense, that's the tetrasperma roots, like that's how crazy it was. I think that's all the cuttings. Oh, I have some pedatum, if I didn't show you guys. I forgot about that plant too. And so yeah, I need to get these plants potted. So that's what we're gonna do. I think the first one I'm gonna do is this lemon lime. I have my lemon lime here. You can see it's starting to fill out here. I have one I have a couple shoots growing in. What I'm going to do is pot the cuttings on this side, because you can see if I hold it like this, all of the growth is facing towards me instead of, you know, being symmetrical. And you guys know I love symmetrical, lush plants. And so when I pot these plants, I'm going to pot them on the opposite side. And I don't know, some of these cuttings, you can see that they did root, some of them. Other ones didn't root as much, like this one. And this one barely rooted. But I'm going to stick them all in there because, like I said, this one didn't root at all. And neither did this one. But like I said, I'm tired of having these cuttings sitting around the house. We're getting these things potted up regardless if they have long roots or not. Usually I like to wait until the roots are 2 to 3 inches, but we're going to do this. I'm trying to get my plants situated because I'm starting the day after Thanksgiving. I will be working 60 hours a week, not by choice. And so I want to get my plants in a place where I won't have to do too much to them. I just basically want to be able to water and fertilize them, and that's it. So I don't want to have to be doing any major like pottings, any major propagations. I want to get that taken care of now. And if I do have to do any propagating or plant surgery, I just want it to be like minor, not like I'm chopping a plant completely back, if you guys know what I mean. I want my plants to be a little self-sufficient, so that way I don't have to worry about them. Because I'm telling y'all, I'm not going to have the energy to be doing all this. So while I do have the energy, I want to get it taken care of now. But I'm still going to definitely try to put up, I'm not going to use that cutting, that doesn't look too good. I'm going to still try to put up my videos. I'm not going to forget about you guys, but I'm just letting y'all know that I will be working a lot more. So I want to get my plants taken care of. I'm just going to put a little bit more soil in here because the soil did, you know, it did go down a little bit. So I want to fill it in just a little bit. And let's see if we can try to rearrange these a little bit. Alright, so that looks a lot better. It looks more like my red Maranta, which I'm so excited for. I wanted it to be more symmetrical, and I think I got the look that I was going for. So I'm really excited for that. Again, this is my Maranta Lemon Lime. One plant down. Let's move to the next one. The next one we are going to do, let's pot up my Tetrasperma cuttings. Here's some examples of what my Tetrasperma roots look like. I did not need to let it go this long, but like I said, I kind of forgot about them. And what's crazy is I broke that off of one of them. I saw these like plants, like I saw them and I just was like, yeah, not today. But I have tons of Tetrasperma. Try to separate them out. Look at that root. I'm hoping this is all going to fit in this 6-inch pot. It might be a little, you know, I should have probably separated this out before, but we did not do that. This is Mojito, Mojito, Tetrasperma. Tell you, Tetrasperma is one of the easiest plants to root. That's why I never worry about this plant. If something does happen to it, it's definitely one of the easiest ones. This is pedatum. Tetrasperma. Geez, I have a lot of tetrasperma. Here's some albo. We'll put that over there. Mojito. Pedatum. Alright. So these are all of the tetrasperma cuttings, and I'm gonna put soil in the bottom of the pot. But I'm not going to immediately just pot the plant up because I want to arrange it in a way where, again, it is symmetrical. I want to try to put these in here so that way the plant looks intriguing and not that I just pop them all in here. So this might be a little difficult as I try to hold these cuttings up. And like I said, in the last video, it's been like 2 months since I did this transformation chop for my original transformation series when I first chopped all these plants back. It's been like 2 months, and so I definitely did not need to let these plants sit for that long. Like I said, I kind of just like forgot about them, and then when I did see them, like I just was like, not today. But that's okay, we'll get them situated. And I think I want to do it like that. Oh yeah, that looks good. We'll do that. Sage is in his crate protesting for some reason. I swear, every time I turn the camera on, he's like, I want attention. And then like, as soon as I'm not filming, he's like, alright, I don't want to be bothered. It's a hot mess. I'm going to try to fill this in. Try to push it in there so that way it can also offer some support, so that way I can let go soon without them flopping. They're starting to stand up. Tetrasperma also grows really well for me. If you guys saw my tetrasperma before I chopped it, it grew extremely well. The only difficulty that I have is trying to find a place for it because it grows so much. That and the decursiva, they just like, they spread out. I'm actually going to be, I think I actually want to chop up my decursiva, to be honest, because I'm not really enjoying the way that it's growing. And I actually was going to sell it, but now that I've been looking at it for like the past 2 weeks after I made the decision, or I thought I made a decision to sell it. And I don't hate the plant, I just don't like the way it's growing, at least for me. At the nursery that I worked at, I saw beautiful decursivas coming in, and they were bushy like this, and they just looked so beautiful compared to how mine was growing. So I kind of want to see if mine can grow like that. If I can get it to grow like that, I think I will try to find another home for it. So that's what my tetrasperma looks like. I am liking this, liking how bushy it is. And so another plant down. Alright, what do we want to do next? Let's do the pedatum next. I just have a couple cuttings of the pedatum. And yeah, I also like this plant too. I like the horse head shape. You guys, I have a lot of horse head shapes actually. I really do like the horse head shape. I should really put this in a 6-inch pot, but I don't think I have anymore, so it's just gonna have to do in this one for now until I go pot shopping. Like I said in my last video, I don't think I'm going pot shopping till next spring, because I can plant plants in the winter. I've done it before. I just don't really feel like doing it now because a lot of my plants need to be repotted, mostly my ficus, and I don't feel like doing all that right now, to be honest, because some of them need like 14-inch pots, and I'm not really looking to do that right now, so they're just gonna have to wait until spring. But that could be another reason why they're not gonna grow for me right now, because they are root bound. Their roots are just coming up out on top of the soil at the bottom of the pot, so I'm not going to be expecting for them to grow for me either. But this plant I almost got rid of. I'm kind of glad that I didn't, because it really is a nice plant. It just wasn't growing right. But that's the pedatum. Looks really good. One more plant down. Let's see. I guess we can do the mojito cuttings. You can see I have these mojito cuttings. I probably will eventually pot these with my other mojito that I got from Airwood Asia. I just kind of want to keep them separate because, like I said, for some reason, this plant and my elbow, I've had to start over a couple times. And they're like, I don't know, they're the trickiest syngoniums that I have in my collection. So I kind of want to keep them separate for now, just in case one tanks. And I think the main reason why I struggle with these plants is because they're susceptible. I think I don't water them enough, which I discussed in another video. I think I need to keep them more moist. And secondly, I feel like they're really susceptible to thrips. So this is the other mojito that I cut back. It's growing in. And so right now I have 3 mojitos. I have 3 mojitos. That's just ridiculous. I'm definitely going to combine them in the future because you guys know I don't like duplicates. But I really want this plant to grow for me, so I'm hedging my bets. I'm trying to make sure that at least one makes it. But I'm going to keep an eye on my syngoniums from now on, like I did with my anthuriums and my philodendron, because I have noticed that those plants need to be more moist too. And so with those other plants, I'm going to try to keep my syngoniums more moist and see if that works better for me. It has already worked out for my my jade and my pink splash. Those are growing really well, and so I'm thinking that that will also help with my mojito and my my mojito and my elbow. As you can see, this one has a little bit less perlite than this one, and so really I need to change this one, to be honest, to make it a little bit less perlite, just a tad. And this one also needs to be repotted because it has roots coming out, but once I have the confidence in it down, I will repot them all together and I will adjust the soil accordingly. But for now, I'm going to keep them separate. Like I said, here's this mojito. This big leaf is gonna, that's probably gonna have to be cut off because that's actually kind of annoying me, but here's my mojito. So yeah, we are moving right along. Getting these plants potted up. I I have to grab one plant. Let me do that. Alright, this is my Syngonium macrophyllum. As you can see, this plant is doing very well. I actually really love this plant. And I was thinking about getting a Chia Pens, but they're so similar that I don't know. There's a couple differences, and I could do a video if I do get the Chia Pens, just so you guys can see the differences. But the main difference, at least off the bat, is that these leaves are more elongated, and the Chia Pens is more round. But there's a couple other differences as well. But I only have one cutting. You can see the roots didn't really grow that long. But like I said, I'm tired of seeing these cuttings. It's going in the soil. And actually, I think I've done this before with my other cutting for this plant. It didn't have a lot of roots, but I just stuck it in the soil with whatever it had, and it did fine. I'm actually going to put a little bit more soil in this pot because it went down quite a bit from like watering and natural compaction. And that's what that looks like. I'm going to start putting some of these plants on the floor. Alright. Let's see what I want to do with the elbow. I'm cutting it completely back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start fresh with the elbow. So the cuttings that I have, I'm potting up in this 4-inch pot. I have a couple over here that I need to take off the dead leaves. Actually, this one, I don't even like the way this one, look at this. I wonder if I can just snap this, because I don't have my, there we go. I might actually pot these separate, because I did this with my Pink Splash. It didn't have leaves, I just had a stem like this, and then it just grew. Like this point here where you see it starting to grow. So I'm just going to pot that up like that. Sometimes you don't have all your materials and you just got to do what you do. So I'm just going to pot this elbow up. I don't know what it is about the elbow and the mojito. They just like, if they weren't some of the most beautiful plants, I honestly would just like give up on them. There's another pedatum cutting. We'll stick that in there. There's very few plants that I will keep trying and trying again. You know, the only other plant that I've done that with so far is the Aglaonema chocolate. And I don't even have to explain to y'all why. Y'all can see that plant and see why I keep like trying with that one. But any other plant, I'm like, okay, you going outside, you going to compost, you going to somebody else's house, but you can't stay here. Alright, oh, that's so cute. Look at that, a baby elbow. Oh, it's so cute. I'm having too much fun with this, y'all. Either that or I'm really tired. Where was that datum? I can't believe I forgot a whole cutting. Let's see if we can just stick this in here without up-potting the whole thing. We gotta keep moving forward. Alright, I think that's gonna work. Nah. Guys, I can't believe I killed this plant, but like I said, I'm glad I took cuttings. I think I need one more pot for this one. I actually want to think about what I'm going to do with this one, to be honest. Oop, that fell off. Yeah, I need to think about what I want to do with this one because you can see that the baby leaves. Look at that. That one just came off completely. But it rooted a little bit. I think I want to pot the... I think I want to separate the baby ones from the bigger leaves because that is going to annoy me. Having bigger leaves and then this baby leaf, I think I want to separate them and see how that goes. So maybe I'll have 2 pots of this plant just until they grow out, and then I'll put them together. As you can see, another stalk grew roots, and so that one will have grown leaves in at some point. But yeah, I think I want to pot these 2 separately. Do I want to do that? I think I want to do that. Let me grab some more pots. Alright, so I'm back with some pots, and I brought my cutters because I'm going to have to cut my elbow anyway. I think I'm going to make a cut here right under where these roots are for this baby plant, because then I can pot that one separately. I won't have to reroot it. And then I'm going to put this one, ooh, that was mushy. I'm going to put that one in a pot with that one. See what happens. We're in the phase of experimentation. And then I think I'm going to pot these 2 separately so that way that starts to grow. Once this plant grows in, I probably will get rid of these older, not so pretty leaves. We'll see. I feel like these leaves have character. Maybe I'll keep them. But you can see that one already has a growth point. But let's put this one in here. So basically this is the update of this plant, which obviously is not a good update. But all the plants can't do well all the time, even if sometimes it's my fault because I put it outside and I forgot about it. But yeah, I put 3 plants outside because they had mealybugs, and I don't know what it is. Mealybugs is the one pest that I don't want to deal with. Like, spider mites are annoying, thrips are the worst, but mealybugs, I can't. And that's what that looks like. And that actually doesn't look that bad. But yeah, like I was saying, mealybugs, I don't know what it is. I think it's just like the fuzziness of the pest, but nope. And I know you can just take cotton balls or cotton Q-tips with some alcohol, but the fuzziness of a mealybug, I just I like fuzzy plants. I don't like fuzzy pests. Those, if you watch my caterpillar story, I don't like fuzzy pests. Nope. I know some of y'all understand because we conversed after that situation, and y'all agreed that caterpillars, they're not it. So mealybugs, they're not it for me either. So we are going to start this plan over. Like I said, I'm glad I took cuttings. I did not center that quite as much as I wanted to. Let's see if we can try to push it over. But looks cute. So now I have 2 melanochrysums, one with the bigger leaves, one with the baby leaves, and I'll update you guys to let you know what happens with these plants. Oh, I forgot to pot the stem. Get it together, girl, get it together. I'm just gonna pot it in with the big ones. You're hanging with the big boys now? I tell you, I watch too many movies. Alright, So hopefully that'll be a little symmetrical when that grows in. And then the last one that I'm going to pot up, I'm just looking at the 2 plants that I plan on chopping. The last one that I plan on potting up is my Adapapawense, just so I can get those cuttings potted up. I'll show you what my Adapapawense looks like. This is her. She is looking grand. She is growing in these tiny leaves, as you can see. So she needs a little bit more light. It could also be that sometimes when you chop a plant, the first couple leaves do come in tiny. So it could also be that, because you can see that this petiole here is a lot shorter compared to this petiole, so she might be getting enough light, and it just might be the fact that she's adjusting after I chopped her. There is another one coming in here, and the petiole is quite short, as well as I have one growing here that's quite short. And so I do like how the petioles are growing in shorter. But I'm just gonna try to find some area to put the cutting in there, because I don't feel like up-potting the whole thing and doing it like I did some of the other ones. So I'm just gonna take the cutting and put it in there. I'm gonna push it in there softly so that way it doesn't damage the roots. And then I'm going to put a little soil in here to cover the roots, make sure the roots are covered. I have another one that this is the other one that I popped in there from last time. You can see that there's new growth there. And so it's definitely working. I have some, a couple of new growths from the last cuttings I popped in there. So it definitely will be a fuller plant, which I'm very excited for. And I have another cutting here. This is the last one. I'm gonna kind of think I broke the new growth. Oops. Alright. Put some more soil in there. Alright, so I'm going to stand up so you guys can see this one. This is what the Adapapawense is looking like. Looking pretty good. And then I just want to show you the new growth at the top. See, this is the new leaf, and there's a new leaf already growing from there. I kind of don't like how long this thing is, but we are just going to leave it. I'm not going to be extra particular. I'm going to let the plant do its thing and grow out a little bit, so I don't keep just chopping it up, because there's other plants I need to worry about. But let me put this to the side. So, another plant I want to fix is this. This is my philodendron Florida Ghost. Y'all can see by the way it looks how I've been treating this plant. This is one of the most disappointing plants in my entire collection. The most disappointing. And I don't think it needs to be repotted. It doesn't have pests. I don't think I was watering enough, to be honest. The soil is definitely dry. And alright. So what we're going to do, I think I might put a little bit less perlite in this when I repot it. Yeah, this thing was dry. Alright, so let's see. I'm gonna chop this plant, honestly. Let's see. Where do I want it? The petiole, like the roots on here are so close. I just don't even know. So I think I'm gonna propagate this one. See if I can water propagate it. Actually, I'm gonna chop it here. We did it. I think I'm just gonna propagate this one. Ooh, and I think I broke the new growth. See, this plant just has bad juju. We'll fix that later. What I'm gonna do with this is I'm going to repot it. Actually, can I just even put this in here? It doesn't even have that big of a root ball. If I take some of this dirt off, like the root ball is actually really tiny. Like the root ball is tiny. I think I'm gonna put it in a smaller pot. I mean, just looking to see if I have anything else to pot up. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna put this in a smaller pot. And yes, I do reuse my soil. If there's no pests, I reuse my soil. I don't waste soil unless there's something wrong with it. If I don't like the medium, but it's my soil, so I do like it. And I do reuse it. I don't know, for some reason I just think it's highly wasteful if I was to not to reuse my soil. Not to mention that I'm kind of cheap, and that would be a lot of money down the drain if I was to just dump it. Alright. So I'm going to water this one in. Oh man, I just used the last of my fertilizer. But I'm just going to water this one in, and we'll see how it goes. I will definitely keep you guys updated on my Florida Ghost, but that's what it looks like. Pretty puny, but it'll be an experiment. The next plant I want to fix is my decursiva. Now you guys have seen me cut this plant back so many times because I didn't like the way that it was growing, and I still don't like the way it's growing. I want this plant to be fuller, and it is kind of full, but that's only because I propagated it probably 3 times now, and you can see that it's just, it sends out these long runners, and it just does its own thing. So I'm just gonna chop it. It's taking up too much space, to be honest. We keep stepping on it. It was growing into my blinds and growing along the wall, and some people like that look of the plants growing into the wall and, you know, sticking to the wall. I don't like that look personally, and I also live in an apartment, and that would be highly damaging since I don't own this place, and so that's not what I'm looking for. Even if I did own a place, I still wouldn't want my plants to grow into the wall because, like I said, it's highly damaging. If I was to ever move or something, and I know you can patch up the wall, but I don't want to have to patch up more than what I already normally would from like paintings or TVs. So we're just going to chop this all. I think I'm just going to chop it all the way back, to be honest. Because like I said, when I worked at this nursery, I saw a whole shipment of these come in, and they were just like the bushiest decursiva's that I've ever seen. And I want mine to look like that. And if I can't get it to look like that, I will give it to somebody else. I will sell it. But yeah, I'm going to chop it back. Let's see. Now this one has grown You can see it kind of attaches itself to the wood. Tetrasperma, I think rhaphidophores are pretty known for attaching things and growing quickly. Look at that. This piece here, like it just grew completely wild. Like my tetrasperma, and now I'm just gonna have so many cuttings of this plant. I don't know, I'm still thinking about selling some of this, to be honest, because this is a lot of plant. And oops. I'm not doing this the right way. Don't do this at home. I also have a baby in here. Ooh, this root system is thick. I'm gonna pull up this baby. And I thought of actually like selling the big pieces and just keeping the baby. Because as you can see, it's quite cute. So I thought about doing that as well. And I might pot this one up separately and then keep this propagating, and I might just like, I don't know, I might just keep the baby, I don't know. We'll see how this one turns out. But yeah, I'm not happy with how this plant is growing. This I could pot up by itself too. And some of you guys might think I'm being really particular about my plants, and I am in a way, but to be honest, when you grow plants for a long time and you don't want to just keep buying plants, you have to find a way to do, you know, manage the plants that you already have. Not to mention I live in a small apartment. I can't have my plants just sprawling out all over the place. I also don't like the look of plants just sprawling out all over the place. I like it to look somewhat manicured. But yeah, we dismantled that whole thing. Ooh, that pot is heavy. And so these are all the cuttings I have for the decursiva, plus this piece, the baby piece, and the other piece that has roots on it. And so I'm definitely going to put the ones that don't have roots in the water. I'll figure out what I'm going to do with the ones that do have roots. I'm going to pot up this baby by itself. But let me just put this to the side for now. I think I need another 4-inch pot for this baby one. I didn't really anticipate potting this one by itself. Alright, I'm back with the pot, and I found another decursiva cutting. This is the one that I took before, and you can see it's rooted a lot. Like I said, rhaphidophores just root so easily, but yeah, I have to figure out what I'm going to do with all this rhaphidophora. But let me pot up the baby one because I just think he's so cute. And he needs water. I just might keep this one. If you guys are interested in buying some decursiva cuttings, let me know. So I might just keep the baby, to be honest. This one's looking so good. And I have these pieces of decursiva too. there's baby the cursiva. Alright, now the last plant that I need to take care of today is the plant that frustrates me to no end. Let me just move some things out of the way. Let me clean up a little bit. Alright, the last plant that we're fixing is my elbow. And y'all are gonna be like, what? This is the current state of my elbow. Like, what in the actual? So, obviously I'm cutting this plant all the way back. I just, girl, let's just do this. I'm going to take as many cuttings as possible because for some reason with the elbow, I'll take a lot of cuttings. Like, it'll seem like I take a lot of cuttings, but they don't always survive. So I'm going to take as many cuttings as I can, so that way I have as much, a bigger chance of, you know, having a fuller plant by the time this is over. I mean, I did just pot this one up, but I want to have quite a substantial plant to start with because I have been struggling with this one. So I'm trying to give myself the best chance. But yeah, I just can't even explain. That one's not too bad. And then some of it at the top, you guys can't see at the top because it grew like way over, but I'll show you as I cut. Like the ones at the top look good. Like this one looks good. That's actually really beautiful. And that's why I love the elbow because the variegation is just so interesting. You never know like what kind of pattern you're gonna get. I had to stand on my tippy toes. You never know what kind of pattern you're gonna get with the elbow. I think there's a couple more pieces I can take on this one. That top piece didn't do too well. So yeah, I don't know if this one, I don't know if the thrips got to this one or if I just didn't water it correctly and then I put it under that Soul Tech light. Regardless, I'm gonna spray all my plants down anyway. So that way I can get that taken care of as well. I'm just gonna go through and spray down like all my plants. I did recently buy more Captain Jacks. Y'all know that's my favorite spray. There's one more I can take here. Sometimes I even take cuttings that don't have any like active or like leaves. I'll just take growth points because sometimes they unfurl. And I'm trying to see if there's any more of those. I don't see any more. I think that's it. I mean, I could also cut these stems up and do it that way as well, but I don't really want to do all that. And I could chop it all the way back to the soil and just keep the roots. Actually, I might do that actually. Because I could have a lot of plant growing from the roots. So I actually did that with my mojito. I chopped this one all the way back and then you can see that it sprouted. So I think I'm gonna actually do that instead of just throwing the whole thing away. I was so mad that I was just gonna throw the entire thing away. But now that I'm being reasonable again, I've had my moment of insanity. I'm just gonna chop it all back and save the bottom part. I can't believe how tall this thing had gotten too. That goes to show you, like, a plant can be doing good 1 minute and just completely die the next minute. That's why I don't spend more money than I can comfortably be okay with, because if it just like decides to just like die out of nowhere, at least I'd be okay with like the amount I spent or the time that I put in trying to rehab it. I'm just going to chop it. I'm sorry for this video being so long, but I really need to take care of my plants, and I also didn't want to make this like a long drawn out like series or whatever. Like, I just wanted to come in, take care of my plants, and be done with it. Like I said, I am going to be busy these next couple of weeks, and I didn't want to turn this into a 2-3 part kind of a thing. And I don't know about you guys, but to me it's so satisfying, just like getting your plants together. Just like when you start the new year and you like get your finances together, or you get back on track with your diet. I don't know, for some reason, like, just doing this is just so satisfying. Just knowing that my plants are going to be together. So I do apologize for it being a long video, but this will be good for my plants in the long run. Alright, so that oh my god, that's funny. So that's what that looks like. As you can see, I left the stems in there, and when oh, it is pretty dry. Like, it's so dry. And I need to get better at watering my syngoniums. But once this dries, or once I like water this and everything, it will start to grow back. It will start to grow back. Alright, so that's all the plants that I needed to fix up. Now I want to show you guys the other plant transformation plants, just so you guys can get an update, because like I said, some of them are growing and doing well. And yeah, so let's do that. Also, this is all the cuttings I'm taking from my elbow, so I'm just gonna stick these in water. Alright, so first stop over here on top of Sage's cage, we have the Gloriosum. As you can see, this one put out this leaf, and then it put out this leaf. It got a little wonky, as you can see, which is fine. It doesn't really bother me. But look at the new leaf that it put out there. I'm so excited. You can see this beautiful leaf. Oh, it's so nice. And then I have this new growth here, which is going to grow as well. And then let me see if there's anything else. I have a little baby one. Don't mind the dirt and everything on my hands. There is the little baby there. So you can see that when I cut it up into little pieces, that all of the pieces are now sprouting. And so I should have a more full plant, but that is the Gloriosum. All right, over here, we worked on my Atapapawense, but I just wanted to show you the Atapapawense leaves. You can see this one came in a little bit smaller than my previous leaves, but you can see that it's growing in. Like I was trying to show you, the petioles are a lot shorter on the newer growth compared to the older growth. You can see how long they are. So I do like the way that the petioles are growing in quite shorter on this one. And then coming over to my squamiferum, I did repot. If you watch my Aerodasia repot, I put the Aerodasia in there with the squamiferum. But you can see that the new growth is coming in a little small, which is fine with me. This is one of the newer growths. And this is one. And this one is one. So you can see that they're starting to take shape, but they are quite small. The thing that I like about the new growth is that the petioles are again shorter. They're more red. And so I think this isn't a light issue, because if it was a light issue, the petioles would be longer like they are here. I think this is just what happens when you cut the plant back. And so I'm really liking the red petioles. Someone told me that, or they said that when the plant comes in red, it means it's getting more light. And so maybe it wasn't getting enough light before, but I could have sworn this one was outside when it grew in these leaves. But I would have to double check that. But yeah, the new ones are definitely coming in red. Don't mind the dirt on my hands, like I said. We just did all that potting. And then this one is definitely short. But this one's a little green. But comment down below, is it a light thing or is it a maturation thing? And then if we scoot in here, I want to show you my Ploumanii. This one is one of the more disappointing ones, just because it really hasn't done as much as the other ones. You can see that I am starting to get growth on these extra pieces, so it will be full once it does grow in. It's just going in quite slow. You can see there's some growth here. I might have to give this one more light, but yeah, it's quite finicky. But yeah, that's the Ploumanii. We might have a little bit of growth here, but we definitely have it here, 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 and there, and there might be some here. So it will be a full plant whenever it decides to grow. And then I think the last one I want to update you guys, big boy is growing back. Look at this. He's growing back wonky, but he's growing back. Sometimes this happens with the leaves. I don't know why it gets all like wrinkled, but sometimes that does happen. You can see that I have a leaf here that's a lot better. So that one's going to be a beauty. And then I have one here. Don't mind the dirt on the blinds. That's from my decursiva. But yeah, there we go. That is a beautiful one. And you can see how I cut the stems. This is where I was telling you guys I wanted to cut the stems and place them in different directions because I wanted more growth and I wanted more, a fuller plant. So you can see I'm getting growth here. I'm getting growth here. We're getting more growth here and here. And then, let me see if there's anything else. There's a little nub here. I'm actually getting something here. And then this was the main, this was a part of the main plant right there. And so the leaf that was on that one actually fell off. So I just kind of tried to bury this piece in the soil so that it could root. And you can see that it's starting to unfurl. So this plant will be quite full once the leaves come in, and I'm so excited because before, you guys know, before I chopped it, it was all one long stem, and I was having difficulty because it wasn't able to stabilize because it was all one stem and it was so top heavy. But now it'll be a fuller plant. I won't have that issue. As well as it'll be a fuller one. Did I just say that? It'll be fuller because I've chopped it and made it go different directions. But there is the view of it. If if I can lift up my light and everything. I should have moved this one further, but I didn't know what direction the leaves were gonna come in. So I could flip it, try to flip it around the other way, so the leaves grow that way. And I'm just waiting for this one to do something. This one's taking a little bit long. But yeah, that's what that one looks. But yeah, that's what that one looks like. And I think that's the last plant transformations plant to update you guys on. Alright guys, so that was the last, I think that was the last transformation plant to update you guys on. So you guys, this was a long video and I apologize for it being so long. But like I said, I really need to get these plants taken care of. So you guys saw me take, I potted up all those cuttings and we took more cuttings, and then I gave you an update on the transformation plants. I will also do more updates if you guys want, so that way you guys can see how these plants are progressing. I'm getting so happy with how my plant collection is turning out. I'm trying to stay more on top of my plants and making sure that they don't just go by the wayside, because this is quite the collection, quite the amount of money that I spent on these plants, and I want to make sure that I'm actually taking care of them and not wasting my money. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys an update. If you guys have any questions or any comments, drop them in the comment section below. And as always, I just want to thank you guys so much for liking, watching, and subscribing, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.